Hello everybody and welcome to part 5 of What If Superboy was in the My Hero Academia universe. If you've missed any of the previous parts, there will be a link in the description below. If you aren't, please consider subscribing and support the channel. If you enjoy the series and want to see it continue, please hit that like button. In the previous episode, the students of Class 1B were doing their combat training exercises while at the same time the USJ was being attacked. After what happened, the students of Class 1B are given the next day off as well because the staff of UA needs to talk to the police. In the staff meeting at UA, Tsukouchi says, "Our investigations are trying to learn everything they can about this so-called League of Villains. We've made progress, but we can't find anything on Shigaraki so far. We've searched our records for men in their 20s or 30s who are registered in having some sort of disintegration quirk. But so far we've come up empty. Same for the Warp Gate villain Kurogiri. So they're not citizens or they're using aliases. Hard to find either way." Vlad King says, "So what you're really saying is that you don't know anything." Snipe says, "We've got to track them down. I shot their ring leader, but once he heals up, he'll probably try pulling something like that again." Nightwing steps up and says, "I might be able to help a bit here. After the incident at the gates the other day, I found nothing. No fingerprints, nothing. But I still examined everything there. The quirk used on the gate matches the description of this Shigaraki fellow. Furthermore, I found a strand of gray bluish hair. I compared the DNA sample with most of the reporters there. It wasn't a match. So I looked into my database and found out that the strand of hair matches a man named Tenko Shimura, one who would be around his 20s right now." All Might looks out in shock at this revelation. Nightwing continues, "I examined the USJ and found the same DNA in another hair sample. So I think this may be our guy. However, what is truly interesting is that he disappeared as a kid at the age of 4 or 6. I don't remember exactly his age, after his family died." Tsukouchi says, "Thanks for upstaging police efforts again, just like your predecessor used to do." Nightwing says, "Sorry, I did the investigation out of concern, seeing as my students, or the boy I'm looking after, could be attacked at any point. I'll give you everything I have on the League first thing tomorrow." Nightwing gets up and says, "Sorry to say this, but it's getting late and I have to get home." Nezu says, "Not a problem. This meeting was coming to an end anyway." The next day, John walks to school like he always does. He's checking his phone and sees a news headline. "Recently graduated hero from UA, Sideways, found dead today." He says, "Damn, why did he have to... I really like that hero. Why did he have to die?" He keeps scrolling and sees UA attacked by villains. John asks, "What? When did this happen?" He clicks the article and reads through it pretty quickly. John arrives at UA and goes to class as normal. The students mingle a bit before the start of class. Nightwing then comes up in and they all take their seats. Nightwing takes the podium and says, "You all probably heard about what happened a couple days ago at the USJ. Don't worry about it, it's being taken care of. More importantly, we have 2 things to discuss today. Let's start with the first. We still haven't picked a class representative. Now what I would suggest is that we make a voting system, but it's ultimately your choice how you want to do it." Kano raises her hand and asks, "Don't you think it's a bit early to be choosing a class rep?" Rem says, "We barely know each other." Nightwing says, "Yeah, but we need to pick one. After all, Class 1A already picked one, like a week ago." Monoma says, "Those overconfident brats think they're so much better than us." Nightwing says, "So, any objections to the voting?" No one says anything. Nightwing says, "Okay then. These are the rules. Everyone gets 1 vote and you're not allowed to vote for yourself." He writes everyone's name on the board and passes out some pamphlets so people can hand in their votes, like write the name who they want to vote and give it in. He writes, after a bit of time, Kendo gets, the votes are revealed. Kendo got 5 votes, getting the title of class rep, and John got 3, becoming class rep. Everyone else has between 1 and 2. or 0, like between 1 and 0 and 2. Nightwing says, okay, we'll be discussing the rest of the rules of the class government later. Right now I have an announcement. In 2 weeks, UA will be hosting the world-famous UA Sports Festival. The class gets super excited. Tetsu screams, alright! Yuikolai asks, is this really the right time? Didn't the school just get attacked by villains? Doesn't that mean we might get attacked again? Especially at such a high-profile event. Nightwing says, yes, there is one, that is one concern, which is why we're beefing up security a lot this year. So no need to worry. I'm sure you all know what the sports festival means for your careers. It's an opportunity to get noticed and discovered by many heroes and agencies. And seeing as this year the first years have a lot of eyes on them because of what happened to Class 1A, you can use their fame to your advantage. So you better give it your all and keep your training better keep training if you want to succeed after all. Anyway, time for math class. Jefferson Pierce opens the door and comes in to teach while Nightwing leaves. The day passes quickly, and after class, everyone gets ready to leave. Tetsu says, I'm going to check out those Class 1A guys. Kendo says, that might not be the best idea. Tetsu goes anyway. Monoma says, I'm going to do the same! Damien says, now that is a bad idea. Monoma says, what are you saying? Damien gets his stuff and leaves. Monoma says, don't ignore me! And John says sorry about him and rushes to accompany Damien as they leave. The next 2 weeks pass by very quickly, with the students studying non-stop and training for the sports festival. The day arrives, and on his way to school, John walks and sees a couple of kids walking with their mother towards UA to see the tournament. On the street, a car spirals out of control and ends up going straight towards them. John runs, pushing the family out of the way of the car. And he's also out of the way. John asks, are you okay? They say yes, and John continues his way to school. He arrives a bit late and runs to the changing room. Damien asks, why are your clothes so dirty? John answers, sorry, had to save a couple of people on my way here. They change into their sports uniforms and get ready for the sports festival. Leaving the waiting area when President Mike calls them out. Once all the students are gathered together, Midnight says, now the introductory speech. For the pledge, we have Jonathan Kent. John takes the stage and says, I want to thank all of you for being here, and I want to wish everyone good luck. I want to say something my father says sometimes. If you will give people an ideal to strive towards, they will race behind you, they will stumble, they will fall, but in time they will join you. In time you will help them accomplish wonders. That's what we are here for, to learn to be those ideals and to be that inspiration to others. So good luck everyone. The crowd starts clapping. Zero turns to Kaminari and asks, can you imagine what would have happened if Baru had given that speech? Kaminari laughs a bit. Midnight says, after such an inspiration speech, let's get started. The first game is what you'd call a qualifier. This is where you begin feeling the pain. The first fateful game of the festival. A screen starts showing many options and ends on 4-kilometer race. Midnight says, all 11 classes will participate in this treacherous contest. The track is 4 kilometers around the outside of the stadium. I don't want to restrain anybody, at least for this game. As long as you don't leave the course, you're free to do whatever your heart desires. Now then, take your places, contestants. The students all get ready for the race, and the clock starts counting down. 3, 2, 1, go. Everyone starts running. In the commentary booth, President Mike says, and we're off to a racing start. How about some color commentary, mummy man? Aizawa asks, how did you talk me into this? President Mike says, what you would be paying attention to in this early stages of the race. Aizawa says, "The doorway." As they approach the doorway, John jumps, leaping on top of everyone, reaching the end. And just as he does, well, some other people also reach the end at the same time he does, but just as he reaches the end, the exact moment he lands, President Mike says, "And we have our first winners of the first round, Jay and Nora West Allen, the children of the famous hero, The Flash." Almost seems unfair. Aizawa says, "Well, they certainly are in their element in this exercise." Todoroki pulls ahead, freezing many students in place. In this version, John gets caught by Todoroki's ice. Damien pulls ahead of John. John says, "A little help?" Damien continues running, a bit ignoring him a bit, and says, "You can do it yourself, Jonathan." John says, "Okay then," and uses his heat vision on his feet to free himself from the ice. He then continues running, finding the robots in front of him. John instantly attacks the robots, breaking it in a couple well-placed punches. He then continues jumping over a bunch of crashed and frozen over 0-point robots. John lands on the ground, continuing and finding the second obstacle in his way. He sees many students such as Uraka Tsuyu stopping in front of it. He sees a girl with pink hair and a bunch of support gear jumping onto the next platform. John does the same, kind of taking away the spotlight from Hatsume. John lands on the next platform, running up for the next jump, and he continues over and over until he finishes the second obstacle. He keeps running and reaches the last obstacle. He looks towards and sees two Class 1A students that are reaching the middle soon, and a bunch of people towards the beginning. John looks around and starts walking, trying to avoid the mines. He manages to do it quickly enough to pull ahead of many people without blowing up. He gets pretty close to Bakugo and Todoroki when he hears a large boom and turns to see what caused that boom. He sees a piece of shrapnel fly out of the smoke created, and then he sees Midoriya fly on it. John says, "Is that?" "It is! Where'd it go, Midoriya?" John gets inspired and continues running. In front of him, Todoroki makes a path of ice as he goes along with Bakugo. They all start racing after Midoriya, and John uses the ice path to get towards, to reach the final spot, to finish the race. They reach the final hallway, and coming out, the first one is Midoriya, followed by Todoroki, then Bakugo, and then Jonathan. With again, Jay and Nora having finished first and second place because of their super speed. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. The next episode of this series would be the second part of the sports festival. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, please leave them either in the comments below or in my Discord. A small little note, the next few weeks, all my series are going to go on a break, including this series, and being replaced with a special project. Until next time, everyone, have a nice day.